Okay, let's think for a second about technology. It's everywhere, right? And it's especially vital in how our communities actually run.
Hmm.
Public servants, you're right there using software for, well, everything from getting information out to delivering core services.
It's a huge part of the job, and it's changing fast. AI is definitely becoming a bigger piece of that puzzle, creating some, interesting new possibilities.
Definitely. And for everyone working in public service, the idea of tech making your job easier, more efficient, and improving those citizen services,
Yeah.
well, that's really appealing.
Absolutely, which is why this recent announcement from a company called Windsurf is catching some attention.
Exactly. So May 15th, 2025, Windsurf rolls out their SWE-1 family of AI models. And look, if you're thinking, oh, great, another AI that just writes code, hold on.
Yeah, that's not quite it. Windsurf is taking a much bigger swing here. They've designed these models to help with the entire software engineering process, not just coding.
And that's what we really want to dig into today. We're looking at an article by Tom Smith over on DevOps.com. Our goal here is to figure out what this SWE-1 thing could actually mean for you, the public servant.
Right. Could it lead to quicker, more solid digital services, better internal tools, things that genuinely help you serve the public better? That's the core question.
Okay, so let's unpack Windsurf's core idea. They put it pretty bluntly.
Yeah.
Writing code is only a fraction of what you do. A coding-capable model won't cut it.
Mm-hmm.
What does that really mean in practice, especially for someone maybe grappling with public sector IT systems?
Well, it really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Building and maybe more importantly, maintaining software, especially in government where systems can be complex and maybe a bit older.
Mhm.
It's so much more than just the initial code.
Totally.
Think about debugging, chasing down errors in systems people really rely on, or integrating different tools that weren't built together, managing updates, security. It's a lot.
Yep.
A tool that just generates code snippets isn't going to help with most of that day-to-day reality for public servants working in tech.
That clicks. So how does this SWE-1 family try to tackle that bigger picture? There are three models you mentioned: SWE-1, SWE-1 Lite, and SWE-1 Mini.
Yeah, think of them as different tools for different jobs. SWE-1 is the big one, their flagship. It's designed for the really complex stuff.
Okay.
It's got strong tool call reasoning. Basically, it's smart about using other tools, like, say, running tests automatically to check its own work. They say it's up there with models like Claude 3.5 Sonnet, but it's meant to be more cost-effective.
Interesting. And it's free for their paid users currently.
That's right. So you could see that being useful for maybe a big agency project, like modernizing an old, complex system.
Makes sense. What about the others? Lite and Mini.
SWE-1 Lite is the mid-range option. Good quality and, importantly, unlimited use for all their users. It replaces an older model. Maybe that's the sweet spot for adding new features to, like, a citizen website or something.
For everyday development.
Exactly. And then SWE-1 Mini is the super fast, small one. It powers the kind of quick, passive assistance in their code editor, little suggestions, quick checks that can just speed up the daily grind for developers.
So a tiered approach. Different tools, potentially different costs, matching different needs you might find across public service.
Precisely. It's not a one-size-fits-all thing.
Now, Windsurf is making a big deal about this idea of flow awareness.
Mhm.
What is that
Right.
exactly? And why should someone trying to improve, say, online permit applications care about it?
Okay, this is where I think it gets really interesting. Flow awareness is about the AI understanding the whole journey of a software project.
The whole journey.
Yeah, not just looking at one chunk of code right now. It gets the history, like what changes were made before, who made them human or AI, and what the overall goal is. It sees the timeline. And this understanding, this flow awareness, comes from it working within Windsurf's own editor environment, where the human developer and the AI are collaborating.
Ah, okay. So it's not just firing off suggestions blindly. It remembers the context. It knows what I just did or what the AI suggested an hour ago.
Exactly, that's the idea. Think about updating, maybe, a critical system for managing public benefits. If the AI suggests something and it's not quite right, a human corrects it.
Right.
With flow awareness, the model learns from that correction in the context of that specific task and project. It doesn't just forget and potentially make the same mistake later.
Okay, that sounds genuinely useful for team stuff and avoiding rework.
Yeah, Windsurf themselves say it enables the right form of interaction while AI is still developing. For you in public service, this could mean, potentially, smoother upgrades to essential systems.
Less painful upgrades are always good.
Right. and better handling of ongoing maintenance, maybe more effective teamwork when you have different people, maybe even different departments working on these big projects that citizens depend on.
That definitely sounds like it addresses some common frustrations in large public sector IT projects.
Okay.
But how well does it actually work? Windsurf put out some benchmarks, comparing it to other big AI models. What's the story there?
Well, according to Windsurf's own evaluation, SWE-1 holds its own against the top-tier frontier models from the major labs.
Okay.
And they claim it significantly outperforms the mid-size models and the open-weight ones that are more widely available. They tested it in a couple of key ways.
Which were?
First, a conversational SWE task benchmark. That basically looks at how well it helps when a developer asks questions or needs assistance during a coding task.
Like in the middle of things.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
second was an end-to-end SWE task benchmark, testing if it could solve a whole software problem on its own, from start to finish.
And the results were positive?
They presented them as positive, yes. And they also mentioned real-world tests, production experiments with real users.
Ah, okay. What did those show? Does it actually help developers get more done?
Apparently, yes. They cited metrics like daily lines contributed per user, basically, how much code generated by the AI gets used, and something called the cascade contribution rate.
Pascal.
That seems to be their internal term for the AI's input. But the point is, these metrics were pointing up, suggesting developers were finding the AI useful and incorporating its suggestions.
Is that it?
For you listening, the significance is that this hints at real potential for productivity gains. If development teams are more efficient, that could mean faster development and updates for those digital services citizens use every day.
So not just theory, some early signs of practical impact. Now, how does this connect to DevOps? That whole philosophy of streamlining software delivery is super relevant for government IT.
Oh, absolutely. It's a critical link. Think about DevOps principles, collaboration, automation, continuous delivery. SW1's features seem designed to mesh with that. For instance, its ability to understand terminal output and errors that could drastically speed up debugging for critical public systems, less downtime for essential services. The way it moves smoothly between editing code and debugging that streamlines the developer's workflow. Its awareness of commands and actions in the coding environment helps integrate the different tools public sector teams often use.
Right.
And crucially, it can process user feedback and test results. That supports a more iterative, responsive way to improve those citizen-facing apps based on what people actually need and experience.
The article quotes Mitch Ashley from Futurum, a DevOps VP. He says this SWE-1 news shows the future of software development is becoming AI-driven, but importantly, it goes far beyond simple code generation.
Exactly. He emphasizes that holistic, full lifecycle approach, and for public service, that could be huge. It might help break down some of those traditional barriers between the dev teams building things and the ops teams keeping them running.
Leading to smoother deployments, more reliable services.
That's the hope. More reliable, more user-friendly services for the public at the end of the day.
Okay, there's also this concept mentioned, the software engineering flywheel. What's the idea there?
It's basically a continuous improvement loop. The more people use Windsurf's tools, the more data Windsurf gets on what works, what doesn't, and what users need help with. That data feeds back into making the AI models better. Better models attract more users, which generates more data, and so on. It creates this self-reinforcing cycle of improvement.
Like a flywheel gaining momentum.
Precisely. Windsurf puts it like this. We always know, at scale, exactly what our users want us to improve with our models next.
So the potential benefit for public services is that these tools could get progressively better at tackling the specific, maybe unique challenges faced in government IT. It learns your needs over time.
That seems to be the long-term vision, yes. Like having a tech partner that constantly adapts and improves based on how you actually use it.
Interesting. And Windsurf isn't done, right? They plan to keep investing.
Definitely. They've stated they're committed to more investment, aiming to eventually beat even the top AI labs when it comes to software engineering tasks specifically.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the big takeaway for you, working in public service tech, seems to be this. Windsurf's focus on the whole software process, that flow awareness, is a significant step beyond just code generation.
Absolutely. It promises a more joined-up, more efficient way to build and maintain the software that underpins public services.
Which could directly lead to better digital services for citizens, more efficient internal processes, smoother workflows for your teams.
Yeah, potentially more responsive digital infrastructure overall, which, can make a real difference in people's interactions with government.
So here's a final thought to maybe mull over as you go about your work, especially if you touch technology. How could tools like this actually reshape your day-to-day?
Mm-hmm.
Could embracing this kind of AI, the kind that understands the whole workflow, be a way to deliver even more impactful results for the citizens you serve, making things smoother, faster, more reliable for them?
It's definitely something to think about, isn't it? What could the future of public service delivery look like with these kinds of tools becoming more integrated?
Food for thought.